For a session presented by Headout, please welcome the co-founder and CEO of Headout, Varun Khona, in conversation with Skift research editor, Dan Marsek.
All right, everybody, 4:45 in the afternoon. Let's get this energy up, all right. So Varun, we're here to talk about experiences, as if the people in the room haven't heard enough about experiences. Even Brian Chesky is getting into your space. You know, one of his billion-dollar bets is on not only the services sector, but experiences as well. I'm going to give you my personal opinion on this.
Sure.
I've been seeing a lot more experiences out in the market for the past few years, but I haven't necessarily seen a lot of people trying to make the individual experiences better. So how are you guys doing that at Headout?
So it's a space that everybody wants to be a part of, and we welcome more and more people to come in because I think the space needs all the attention and all the love that it can get. It is, at the end of the day, the core essence for why we travel. And if the why we travel can be improved in any specific dimension, then I think all of us as the broader ecosystem will benefit from that phenomenon. Coming more directly to your question about how do we view the space, Headout, the way that we describe ourselves, we are home to only the world's best experiences. Both only and best are two critical words in that phrasing. We are not a traditional open marketplace that goes and aggregates every single experience that's out there. We've almost flipped the sequence on its head, where what we do is we create our own set of experiences for a given point of interest. So let's say, for example, if somebody was heading to Vatican Museum in Rome, we would create the list of 10 experiences that we believe are the must-do, high-quality experiences that users or guests who are heading to that specific attraction should be interested in. We curate heavily who gets to come in and join the marketplace to be able to serve those experiences. But most importantly, what we do is we ensure that we upgrade the underlying supply partners that we work with to be able to make sure that they are elevated and standardized to a higher degree of quality to be able to make sure that the end consumer gets something that's seamless and that's high quality. So we are in a very fundamental DNA way, sort of opposed to the idea of having experiences for the sake of having it. It's been the way that we have built this managed ecosystem across 200 plus cities, and it's at the core of sort of what we are.
That's great. I mean, I know a lot about what you're saying. We've been talking a lot about this, and I think that it describes well of kind of who you are and why you do it. Let's talk a little bit about what you do. You want to show the video?
Yeah, so let's take a quick video. I think there are some things in life which are better shown than said, and then we'll talk about it.
All right, great.
Our world is full of incredible stories. Now, you can be a part of them. Introducing Dex. Hear the world come alive.
Welcome to your tour of the Tower of London. Now, continue walking through the archway under the gate.
Wait, what are those holes?
Ah, those are what we call murder holes. Back then, soldiers poured down oil, rocks, even arrows to stop intruders.
This hallway has many stars, but this one's been totally posing bare for centuries. Should we do a little makeover?
Ah, look at you. 7th pit stop today. Victoria Street, the one that inspired Diagon Alley in Harry Potter. And with that, you've earned a new badge. You're now the Dex Mayor of Edinburgh.
All right, so other than learning about murder holes, which I had never heard of before, and if anyone else had heard of that, let me know. But what are we looking at here? Like, what is this, and what is it doing for Headout users?
Yeah, so our mission has always been about making sure that users get to head out and have a great time while they're at it. And as a function of that mission, in the last couple of years, as AI sort of emerged from being something that was an evolving fringe new technology to something that's now mainstream, we asked ourselves this question when we look ahead in time, when we look at the next decade, what will AI enable us to do? And I think when we look at the application of AI within the travel ecosystem, we've solved some good problems with it. We have solved problems like creating slightly better, more optimal itineraries. We've solved problems of providing support with automated AI agents speaking to you. We've solved the problem of helping people use natural language to be able to search and filter what they want. But when we looked at this, we felt that at the end of the day, the core essence for why somebody travels is to be able to see places, is to be able to see people, is to be able to see the stories between these people and these places. And there is a world in which AI disrupts that equation, that interaction between people and places. And we wanted to make sure that we set the stage for what that world should look like versus that happening by itself as a function of user behavior automatically gravitating towards AI. And so that's exactly what we have done, where we have built this product called Dex. It's an AI that elevates and augments physical spaces. So when you find yourself looking at a new museum, when you find yourself in a new neighborhood, when you find yourself in a historical landmark, what we have done is, if I can sort of draw a loose analogy, we have tried to take a friend that knows you really well. We've tried to take a subject matter expert that's been in that city for 50 years. We've tried to take somebody who's really, really good at storytelling, a great scriptwriter, maybe a great director. We've taken somebody who is almost infinitely patient like a teacher is, and we've taken all of these different personas and put this into one single entity, that entity being Dex, which effectively allows you to be able to get great interactive stories of locations around the world, interact with those locations as through the medium of those stories, and then be able to infinitely personalize that experience for yourself in a way that just wasn't possible until this product gets out there.
That's really interesting. So what you're saying is that this is better than an audio guide?
It's way better than an audio guide. It's a guide that knows you. It's a guide that you can talk to. It's a guide that allows you to sort of really immerse yourself in the space that you are in. Imagine if every location on this planet effectively had a movie for itself, a movie which had a great script, a movie which had a great background score, a movie which had a wonderful cast. All of these different elements that make a great story, and stories essentially are what sort of moves us as humans, is what we have built into the story engine, which is kind of the underlying block that powers Dex as an experience. And then in addition to the immersive story that you get as the foundational block, you're able to interact with actual sort of physical spaces as a function through those stories, right? So unlike an audio guide, you can talk to the characters that you've got in this movie. You can use the space that you're in as a movie set and actually experience the movie set as if you are a character in that movie set. You may be prompted to play a game. You could be playing a game where you're playing versus yourself, where you're unlocking different levels and different accolades, depending on how much of the space that you have seen, how much of the story have you heard. Or you could be playing a multiplayer game where you're competing with a bunch of other people that are also finding all of these hidden treasures at different spots in, let's say, downtown Manhattan, right? So it is infinitely more immersive and infinitely more interactive, and both those things make it easily a 10x sort of product on something that's a traditional audio guide. And the really good thing about this is that you can do all of this on your own phone. You don't need to rent one of those clunky devices and try and sort of walk around looking a bit funny with those devices hung over your neck. You can just do this on your own phone, which effectively is a supercomputer that all of us have in our hands.
Right. So this is a topic that's come up a lot throughout this conference as we've talked about AI. It's noble that you want to build this within your own app, but why can't we just use ChatGPT or other large language models as they get more sophisticated, as they get more integrated into different industries? Why can't we just wait for that?
Yeah, so the way that you think about this is that ChatGPT is very good at reacting to prompts that you throw at it. Mm-hmm. So if you want to go to ChatGPT and ask a question, it's very good at answering that question, right? But what it's not really good at is being able to solve the problem statement of inspiring you to be able to understand what that space has to offer, to be able to give this integrated sort of constellation of products where not only are you getting just a high-level story, but you're getting factually accurate information. You're getting stories which are interactive. You're getting stories which have got sound effects in them. You're getting stories which have got a background score to them. You're getting a story where you're able to pick a character, right? So it's infinitely more interesting for me, as an example, to be able to check out something like the Tower of London with the character of Anne Boleyn versus to listen to a robot that effectively has no personality of its own, right? So all of these specific things are problem statements that ChatGPT as a horizontal LLM is not meant to solve. It's meant to sort of give you the foundation models. You need to build really compelling consumer applications on top of those models, and that's exactly what Dex is doing. It's one of the most complicated and one of the most immersive consumer applications built as an AI on top of these foundational models, and I think this is going to be sort of the new standard where you will continue to see a wave of emerging applications built on a lot of these foundational models, which are specifically oriented towards solving a deep problem statement in a way that just cannot be solved with a horizontal LLM.
Right, and so we have another video, if we can pull that up. It doesn't have sound, so you can talk over it.
Yeah.
But as a follow-on to what we were just talking about, tell me about, we know what the benefits are for the consumer, well, at least briefly what you discussed. What about for the industry? Who's going to be using this, and how can they benefit from putting in their own data and information? I mean, maybe I just answered the question.
Yeah. So what we've done and what you're seeing here on the screen is sort of Dex Studio, which is the back-end engine that powers the front-end sort of consumer experience. And what this is effectively an AI co-director and AI co-editor. This is a tool where you're able to sort of go in and just in plain English, write a prompt, and that prompt will effectively generate a story all by itself. It will generate a story that's compelling, that's dramatic, that's got intrigue, that's got comedy, that's got everything in it to be able to hook a user for multiple hours at a specific location. You are able to ensure that that story has got background score, that story has got sound effects, that story has got a bunch of different characters. And what all of this is doing is it's giving control to the venue. So if, for example, if we work with venue X, the venue is able to use this tool to be able to make the exact experience on Dex the exact way that they would want it to be. So they can produce a story, but they can then go and edit a certain section. They can go and swap a character. They can dial up the drama. They can dial down the comedic flavor. They can do anything and everything that they would like, just like a director would or an editor would. And they can do it all on the fly at no additional cost, right? It's a completely free tool for all venues, for all museums, for all landmarks. And the way that we look at sort of the value that this generates for them is that if users or visitors to these venues are able to spend more time in these venues and are able to really connect with the story of these venues through these immersive experiences, then those users are way more likely to come back. Those users are way more likely to be fans and promote that venue to other travelers. And those users are going to be generating real revenue for those venues by spending money on buying this specific AI tour or by buying other additional services because they're spending more time in these locations. And so I think in general, at the end of the day, if you are able to truly ensure that there is a real connection between a human and a certain physical space and make sure that connection is augmented with these tools, then you can ensure that there is real value for both the consumer and the venue to be had, and that's exactly what we're enabling at zero cost to the venue.
Nice. Well, we're getting the hook, but I do have one yes or no question,
Yes.
and then so the people can come to you after. Is this the death of the human tour guide?
It's not. So today when
We don't have time to explain. So everybody come talk to Varun.
The answer is no.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.